Chapter 656. Slap. Lu Ming turned his hand and slapped Qin Zhao on the other side of his face. Lu Ming controlled his strength very well and did not send Qin Zhao flying. Immediately, the other side of his face swelled up. "If you keep blabbering, I'll kill you and your brother right now," Lu Ming said coldly. Qin Zhao immediately shut up. His brother was recovering from his injuries. If Lu Ming really killed him, the two of them would be finished. Luo Xian did not say anything. She also felt that Qin Zhao had gone too far. He had been targeting Lu Ming. Lu Ming was already being kind by not killing him. Lu Ming smiled faintly and then turned to leave. Seeing Lu Ming and Xian Yinqing disappear from the spectator stands, Qian Zhao's eyes were filled with resentment. He growled, "Little bastard, when my brother recovers, I'll pay you back tenfold for what you did today." Luo Xian shook her head secretly. How could such a person pursue her? If it weren't for Qin Dao, Luo Xian would not have bothered with him. Lu Ming and Xian Yinqing walked out and strolled on a street. "I thought you were going to fight Shuigang," Xian Yinqing said. "Do you think I'll be provoked by that idiot? How is that possible? This is a good place. If I go down and defeat Shuigang, many people won't dare to fight." Lu Ming smiled faintly. "Oh, what's your plan?" Xian Yinqing asked. "Of course I'll fight them one by one. I can practice my fist technique and earn spiritual crystals, killing two birds with one stone." Lu Ming smiled. Then, his eyes lit up and he walked into a mask shop. "I understand." Xian Yinqing smiled and followed him in. After that, Lu Ming bought an Azura mask and Xian Yinqing bought a Yaksha mask. After buying the masks, they each bought a set of black robes and put them on. Then, they walked towards the Fate battle stage and paid 200 top-grade spirit crystals each. Lu Ming put on the Azura mask, while Xian Yinqing put on the Yaksha mask. At this moment, Shuigang had already left the battle platform. Presumably, no one else would challenge him. "Who's going first?" Lu Ming whispered to Xian Yinqing. "Anything is fine. Then I'll go first." With that, Lu Ming appeared on the fighting ring. Someone else is on the stage. What's his cultivation level this time? Seeing that someone was going up the stage, the audience's spirits were lifted. They had spent 200 spiritual crystals of the highest quality just to watch the battle. If there was no one to fight, wouldn't the spiritual crystals be wasted? At this moment, Lu Ming's aura spread out, telling everyone that he was a peak-level king. Another peak-level king is going up. What's wrong with him? He's coming up as soon as Shuigang left. Isn't he afraid that Shuigang will challenge him? I don't think so. Shuigang would at least wait for his opponent to fight once or twice. If his opponent is too weak, I don't think Shuigang will fight. Shuigang is definitely a rising talent. He's too strong. If the list of top 1,000 talents is rearranged, he might be able to make it up. There was a burst of discussion in the surroundings. "Who's going to fight me?" Lu Ming looked around and shouted, As soon as Lu Ming's voice sounded, Qian Zhao and Luo Xian's expressions changed. Lu Ming didn't change his voice. They could tell that it was Lu Ming's voice. "That kid is finally going up. Hee, he's wearing a mask. Let's see how many rounds he can win. I hope he doesn't die in the first round." Qian Zhao sneered. Luo Xian frowned and ignored Qian Zhao. She looked curiously at the figure in the fighting ring. She did not know why, but she felt that Lu Ming was not simple. Perhaps Lu Ming could give everyone a surprise? Luo Xian couldn't help but look forward to it. "I'll kill you." A big-eyed old man stepped into the air and stood in front of Lu Ming. "Kid, don't think that you can scare people by wearing a Shura mask. The Fate battle ring depends on one's combat strength. Your storage ring is mine." The big-eyed old man smiled sinisterly. "I hope you can take a few more blows." Lu Ming said lightly. "Kid, what did you say?" The big-eyed old man was stunned. "I told you to stop talking nonsense. Take this," Lu Ming said softly as he threw a punch at the big-eyed old man. "Let's see what you've got." A battle axe appeared in the hands of the elder with big eyes. With one strike, he split Lu Ming's fist force into two halves. However, before he could rejoice, the next fist force attacked him. He could only slash his battle axe once again. Boom, boom. Lu Ming's left and right fists worked. Fist gleams shot out continuously, like meteors streaking across the void. The big-eyed old man's combat strength was not bad. He was stronger than the peak king of the Blood Evil pirate group. However, he was still suppressed by Lu Ming. This was the result of Lu Ming suppressing his true origin. Lu Ming was using him to practice his punches. In the past, as long as Lu Ming had spirit crystals in the Temple of Paragon, he could create a figure that looked exactly like him to spar with and practice martial arts. However, as his cultivation rose to the Martial King realm, that ability became useless. It was just an inscription array, which was set up by the Nine Suns sovereign after he was severely injured. Its power was limited. However, after Lu Ming reached the Martial King realm, his energy was too great. His attack power was even more terrifying. The array could not be replicated. Therefore, Lu Ming had to find his own opponent to practice his martial skills. The big-eyed old man was suppressed by Lu Ming's punch. He roared furiously. No matter how strong his cultivation was, no matter what powerful martial skills he used, he was suppressed by Lu Ming. I admit defeat. I admit defeat. The big-eyed old man was finally afraid. He shouted and admitted defeat. I won't allow it. A faint voice sounded from Lu Ming's mouth. You won't allow it? Don't think you can kill me. The big-eyed old man roared furiously. He shot up into the sky and tried to escape like Qingdao. You can't escape. Boom. Lu Ming's vital essence increased, and his fist force became more ferocious. He threw a punch in the air in front of the fist force was completely sucked dry, forming a vacuum passageway. The ferocious fist force collided with the battle axe of the big-eyed elder and exploded. The big-eyed elder roared and spat out blood. His body fell. Lu Ming's subsequent fist force bombarded him again. Bang! Bang! After a few punches, the big-eyed old man screamed and his body exploded. He died on the spot. Whoosh! Lu Ming moved and devoured the blood essence of the big-eyed old man. He also took his storage ring. He won. On the spectator stand, Luo Xian revealed a hint of excitement. Humph, he only won one round. That big-eyed old man's combat strength is not high. He is much weaker than my big brother. Chun Zhao curled his lips. You can shut up now. At the side, Qingdao coldly glanced at Chun Zhao as he berated. His injuries had already stabilized. Chun Zhao's face changed, and he immediately shut up. Who else wants to fight? Chapter 657. Lu Ming looked around and said in a clear voice, I'll go. A red-haired man stepped into the air and flew onto the stage. Someone has indeed made a move. Lu Ming's lips curled into a smile. He had suppressed his true yuan, so that he wasn't much stronger than the big-eyed old man. His goal was to attract the attention of others. If he was too strong, who would dare to go on stage? Now, the red-haired man stepped onto the stage. What's your name? The red-haired man asked. Shura. Lu Ming replied indifferently. Shura? Hee. Kill. All of a sudden, the red-haired burly man attacked. A flaming saber gleam that was 1,000 meters long slashed violently at Lu Ming. Exploding star fist. Lu Ming punched out, and the explosive fist energy clashed with the opponent's saber light, causing the stage to tremble. Pong. Lu Ming's fist energy was actually shattered, and the blazing saber light continued to slash down at Lu Ming. Die. The red-haired man's body was covered in blazing flames, and his expression was savage. Not bad. Lu Ming's lips curled into a smile. This red-haired man was much stronger than the big-eyed old man. No wonder he dared to go on stage. Then I'll add 2 more points. Lu Ming smiled and punched out again. Boom. This fist energy was twice as strong as the previous one, and it pierced through the red-haired man's saber light. The fist energy didn't stop there, and it continued on toward the red-haired man. You were hiding your strength. The red-haired man roared and revealed a terrified expression. He used all his strength and slashed out with his saber. However, the result was the same. Just like the big-eyed old man, he was completely suppressed by Lu Ming. After dozens of moves, Lu Ming killed him with one punch. Exploding Star Fist. Nearing the 3rd level, Lu Ming muttered as he put away the interspatial ring and devoured the red-haired man's essence blood. After devouring the essence blood of 2 peak-tier kings, the 9 dragons' bloodline rumbled. Refined. Lu Ming stood on the battle platform and began to refine the essence blood while waiting for others to challenge him. The surroundings fell silent. For a moment, no one stepped forward. Although Lu Ming had killed 2 people in a row and obtained their storage rings, and as long as they killed him, the rewards would definitely be huge, Lu Ming's battle prowess was still unknown to the others. Oomph! Chun Zhao snorted coldly, his expression ugly. He said that it would be good if Lu Ming could win 1 round. But now, Lu Ming had won 2 rounds in a row, which made him very unhappy. 2 minutes. Lu Ming stood on the platform for 2 minutes. The essence blood of the 9 dragons' bloodline was used by Lu Ming to improve his second bloodline. The 9 dragons' bloodline needed a lot of blood essence to reach the 9th tier of the king class. Lu Ming planned to upgrade his second bloodline to the 8th tier of the king class before upgrading the 9 dragons' bloodline. Whoosh! At this moment, a figure rushed onto the fighting ring. It was a tall and thin middle-aged man. Everyone was refreshed. Finally, someone else came onto the platform. Lu Ming looked at the middle-aged man. Azura, your fist strength is powerful, but as long as I don't take it head-on, I'll see what you can do. Before he finished speaking, the middle-aged man moved and turned into phantoms, pouncing on Lu Ming. By the time he finished speaking, the tall and thin man had turned into 18 phantoms, surrounding Lu Ming. Sharp sword chi pierced the air and stabbed toward Lu Ming's vital parts. 18 phantoms and 18 streaks of sword chi were extremely sharp. Boom, boom. Lu Ming punched several times in a row, hitting several phantoms. Those phantoms collapsed and disappeared. Phantoms. Lu Ming raised his eyebrows. His figure flashed continuously, avoiding the attack of the sword aura. Then, both his fists punched continuously. Streaks of fist strength pierced through the void and blasted on the phantoms. In the blink of an eye, 7 or 8 phantoms collapsed. They were all phantoms, not real. The remaining phantoms moved again and continued to pounce on Lu Ming. In the process, the number of phantoms increased again, returning to 18. Every single one of them appeared to be real. Even their auras were exactly the same. Haha, die. The 18 phantoms sneered at the same time. Lu Ming's figure flashed and dodged the attacks. At the same time, he continued to punch out. The tall and thin man's phantoms were constantly shattered, but each time they were shattered, they would recover. The two of them were in a state of anxiety. In the blink of an eye, they had exchanged more than 50 blows. It seems that Azura has met his match. That's right. Shura's Zhen Yuan is abundant, and his fist energy is tyrannical. However, his weakness is also very obvious. His opponent's unpredictable movement skill has entangled him, and his fist energy has no place to use it. Wearing a Azura mask to imitate Yama, they are not on the same level. The difference is too great. The spectators around expressed their opinions one after another. In the process of their discussion, dozens of blows had passed in the blink of an eye. At this time, Lu Ming felt that his exploding star fist was becoming smoother and smoother. Boom. Suddenly, he punched out, and the power was stronger than before. The tall and thin man was shocked. Haha, the exploding star fist has finally been cultivated to the 3rd level. This battle should be over. Lu Ming smiled in his heart. Boom. Lu Ming stepped on the fighting ring and rushed to the sky. Then, he looked down from above and punched out one after another. In an instant, Lu Ming punched out dozens of times. Dozens of fist strength streaked across the sky like meteors and fell on the fighting ring. And the power of each strike was stronger than before. So many. The tall and thin man was shocked. He tried his best to dodge, but the phantoms still collapsed one after another. The 18 phantoms became 17, 16. In the blink of an eye, there were only 2 or 3 phantoms left. Just as he was about to continue changing his form, dozens of fists came crashing down from the sky. No! The tall and thin man roared. In the next moment, he was drowned by dozens of fist strength. The fighting ring rumbled violently. When the fist strength disappeared, the tall and thin man was lying there like a pile of mud, without any signs of life. Just like before, the blood essence and storage ring all belonged to Lu Ming. 3 consecutive victories. Lu Ming had won 3 consecutive victories. Moreover, he had won consecutively, not over a few days. Many people's consecutive victories were actually accumulated over many days. For example, Chun Dao would occasionally fight and accumulate his consecutive victories. It was difficult to win consecutively in a short period of time because continuous battles would consume a lot of true essence. Moreover, the challengers would definitely become stronger. Who wants to fight me? Lu Ming continued to look around. Hee, that's enough. You have already obtained 3 storage rings. Now, let me deal with you. A sneer was heard, and a red figure appeared on the fighting ring. It's Shuigang. He's going to attack again. Looks like he's been waiting. Now that Azura has won 3 consecutive battles, he's going to attack. I wonder if Azura dares to accept the challenge. Shuigang defeated Chun Dao just now. Chapter 658. This person was Shuigang, who had defeated Chun Dao before. Shuigang. Chun Dao's eyes flashed. Lu Ming. Luo Xian revealed a worried expression. Lu Ming, aren't you powerful? If you have the ability, then don't surrender. Chun Zhao's eyes flashed with resentment. He hated Lu Ming to the bone, and his face was still swollen. He hoped that Lu Ming would accept the challenge. If that happened, he would definitely die at Shuigang's hands. Azura, quite a domineering name. I wonder if you have the guts. Shuigang sneered. Guts? What do you mean by guts? Lu Ming smiled faintly. I'm afraid you'll surrender before the battle. Shuigang licked his lips. Haha, Shuigang, you don't need to provoke me. You came up just in time. I'll use you to practice my fist. Lu Ming said. Haha, so you're not surrendering? Haha, good. Shuigang was overjoyed. Blood flame palm. A blood-red palm print was sent out from Shuigang's hand. He couldn't wait to attack Lu Ming. In his opinion, Lu Ming had the wealth of 3 Peak Kings. Adding on Lu Ming's own wealth, he had the wealth of 4 Peak Kings. How much wealth would 4 Peak Kings have? If Lu Ming surrendered without a fight, he would only need to give him 1 million spirit crystals. Wouldn't that be a huge loss for him? Right now, Shuigang's heart was burning. The blood-red palm print caused the space to tremble, and the smell of blood permeated the air. Exploding star fist. Lu Ming punched out. The fist energy collided with Shuigang's palm print, but the fist energy was instantly shattered by the blood-red palm print. Boom, boom. Lu Ming punched out dozens of times. However, Shuigang punched out a few more times, shattering all of Lu Ming's fist energy. Haha, although your fist energy is fierce, you're still far from being able to compete with me. Shuigang sneered. This Shuigang seems to be a rising genius. His battle prowess isn't bad, and he isn't any weaker than Shangxing a few months ago. Lu Ming thought. However, Lu Ming was much stronger than he had been a few months ago. If Lu Ming were to go all out, he would be able to kill the sacred star from a few months ago with one move. Of course, Lu Ming would not do that. First, he needed to practice his boxing. Also, he needed to attract stronger opponents. Then I'll increase my Zhen Yuan by another 2%. Circulating his Zhen Yuan, Lu Ming punched out again. A vacuum tunnel appeared and collided with Shuigang's blood flame palm. With an explosion, the fist energy and the flaming blood palm both disappeared. You are still hiding your strength? Shuigang's expression changed. Lu Ming's fist force could still increase. This made him feel that something was amiss. Those people had been killed by Lu Ming just like that. Die! Shuigang roared as his bloodline erupted. The blood-red palm print became even more domineering, and the blood intent enveloped Lu Ming. Bloodline martial skills were heaven-class upper bloodline martial skills. They were extremely powerful. In terms of power, they were even stronger than Lu Ming's 3 ultimate skills of the Dragon God. After all, the 3 ultimate skills of the Dragon God were cultivated by Lu Ming. They couldn't compare to bloodline martial skills. Shuigang went all out, and his power doubled. His attacks were like a storm that drowned Lu Ming. Finally, it's getting a little interesting. Lu Ming's eyes revealed a trace of fighting spirit. Boom. In the next moment, raging flames burned around him. It was the fire intent. Of course, Lu Ming only cast one kind of fire concept. The fire concept was integrated into the exploding star fist, making the power of the exploding star fist even more terrifying. Every fist force was like a burning meteor, full of violent aura. The fist energy and Shuegang's blood-red palm print constantly bombarded each other. As for Shuegang's blood intent, it could drain blood, but it had no effect on Lu Ming. Could it be compared to the devouring power of the Nine Dragons' bloodline? The Nine Dragons' bloodline only needed to circulate a little to make the blood intent lose its effect. In the blink of an eye, dozens of moves had passed. Just like the previous battle, Lu Ming began to gain the upper hand again. How can this be? Many people widened their eyes, especially Chen Zhao, who was in disbelief. Shuegang roared and broke out in a cold sweat. He was being suppressed. Was he going to end up like those people and be killed by Lu Ming? No, he couldn't. He was a peerless genius and had a chance to enter the list of top 1,000 talents. This time, he came to the chaotic astral sea to train himself and prepare for the battle of destiny. How could he die? But no matter how hard he tried, he was still suppressed by Lu Ming. He felt that Lu Ming's fist energy was getting stronger and stronger. Every time the fist energy exploded, he felt as if his skin was being torn apart. Go! Shuegang roared and rushed into the sky. He wanted to escape. Do you think you can escape? Lu Ming stepped into the air and moved faster than Shuegang. In an instant, he appeared in front of Shuegang and punched out. Shuegang didn't expect Lu Ming's speed to be so terrifying. In a hurry, he managed to block with a palm print. The palm print was directly destroyed by Lu Ming. Shuegang's body flew out of the fighting ring like a cannonball and landed heavily on the fighting ring, spitting blood. Lu Ming chased after him. Wait a minute, I admit defeat. Azura, I'm from the Heavenly Corpse sect. If you kill me, the Heavenly Corpse sect will never let you go. Shuegang shouted. Heavenly Corpse sect? Lu Ming was slightly stunned. Didn't the Heavenly Corpse sect play with refined corpses all day long? Why didn't Shuegang have any refined corpses? Seeing Lu Ming's stunned expression, Shuegang thought that Lu Ming was afraid. He shouted again, Azura, if you let me go, I'll let bygones be bygones. What do you think? Haha, Shuegang, have you forgotten that this is the chaotic astral sea? The Heavenly Corpse sect can't control this place. Moreover, the people of the Heavenly Corpse sect deserve to die. Lu Ming's slightly cold voice came out of his mouth. Then his body flashed, and he charged toward Shuegang. Damn it! Shuegang roared and tried his best to resist, but the result was already decided. After a few moves, he was bombarded by Lu Ming's punches and his body exploded. Shuegang was dead. The genius of the Heavenly Corpse sect had defeated Qindao, who had won 8 times in a row, and was killed by Azura. The atmosphere at the scene reached a climax, and the crowd cheered excitedly. Kill, good kill. Haha, this is so exciting. Yes, a young genius was killed. It's really exciting. That fool even mentioned the Heavenly Corpse sect. In the chaotic astral sea, it doesn't matter who comes. Azura is so strong. He won 4 times in a row and even killed Shuegang. Judging from his voice, he seems to be very young. Could he be another young peerless genius? Very likely. King Yin is also a young genius and is very likely to be a peerless genius on the list of top 1,000 talents. Azura is also very likely to be a peerless genius. There have been too many young geniuses in the chaotic astral sea recently. Chapter 659. I didn't expect Lu Ming to be so strong. Luo Xian's eyes were glittering. I'm not as strong as him. Chen Dao sighed. How can this be? How can this be? Chen Zhao roared in his heart. It was simply unbearable. Before, he had been talking about how strong and terrifying his brother was in front of Lu Ming, and how Lu Ming was nothing in front of his brother. He was very proud and arrogant. But now, his brother had been defeated by Shuegang and had almost been killed. He had to run away and pay 5 million supreme-grade spirit crystals to save his life. But now, Shuegang, who had beaten up his brother, had been killed by Lu Ming. What was this? Everything he had said before was a joke, a blatant joke. Perhaps, in Lu Ming's eyes, he was a clown who was telling ridiculous jokes. Damn it! Damn it! Chen Zhao roared in his heart. His pride had been severely damaged. "Is there anyone else?" Lu Ming asked loudly. No one said anything, nor did anyone go up. Lu Ming waited for a few minutes, but still, no one went up. Lu Ming's battle strength was too strong. Even if there were people stronger than Shuigang, they would think twice and not act rashly. After a few minutes, no one made a move. Lu Ming flew down the arena and came to Xian Yinqing's side. "My turn," Xian Yinqing said indifferently as he flew onto the stage. His aura spread out. Peak-tier king, another peak-tier king, and he's wearing a yaksha mask. Is he another expert? No way. How can there be so many experts? Judging from the figure, it seems to be a woman. Xian Yinqing caused a commotion as soon as he went up. "Who wants to fight?" Xian Yinqing spoke. His voice was crisp but cold. "It's Miss Xie." Luo Xian immediately recognized Xian Yinqing's voice. "Is Miss Xie's battle strength also very strong?" Luo Xian muttered. "Humph." Chun Zhao coldly snorted, and a vicious look flashed in his eyes. He secretly prayed in his heart, hoping that Xian Yinqing would be killed. "It's a young woman." The surrounding audience could also tell that Xian Yinqing was quite young. "I'll take you on." Finally, someone went on stage. Without any superfluous words, Xian Yinqing immediately launched his attack. Xian Yinqing didn't use her heavenly demon power field or her bloodline martial skill. She mainly used her destruction mentality and wind mentality. She wanted to use Lu Ming's method to fuse the two mentalities with the help of external forces. Therefore, Xian Yinqing didn't seem to be very strong, and he was locked in battle with his opponent. Lu Ming diverted part of his attention to watch the battle while refining the blood essence. After devouring the essence blood of 4 peak kings, he used it all to strengthen his second bloodline. The bloodline power of his second bloodline increased rapidly. On the stage, Xian Yinqing exchanged a few hundred moves with his opponent before finally killing him. Because Xian Yinqing didn't seem to be very strong, the others thought that they could take advantage of another few hundred moves, so another expert went on stage. Unfortunately, the result was the same. After exchanging another few hundred moves with Xian Yinqing, he was still killed. After that, no one else went on stage. At this time, Lu Ming's essence blood was almost completely refined. His second bloodline hadn't evolved yet, but Lu Ming felt that it was almost there. "Let's go." Xian Yinqing leaped down from the fighting ring and left the life fighting ring with Lu Ming. After a few battles, they needed to go back and digest. But soon, the names of Azura and Yaksha would spread throughout Golden Sand Island. Lu Ming and Dandan left the stage and found a secluded place to take off their black robes and masks. Then, they found an inn and booked 2 rooms. Sitting cross-legged in the room, Lu Ming appeared in the Temple of Paragon with a thought. After 4 battles, Lu Ming had a new understanding of the exploding star fist. Lu Ming wanted to use the Enlightenment Ancient Tree to comprehend it. He placed the Enlightenment Ancient Tree on the side. The Tao Comprehension Ancient Tree's growth became better and better. That tender leaf had now grown a bit, becoming a bit greener, sparkling and translucent. The aura of the great Tao curled about it, becoming more and more mysterious. Lu Ming waved his hand and took out a large amount of spirit herbs. He squeezed out some medicinal liquid and sprinkled it all on the profound yellow silicon soil. "Leave some for me." Dandan's eyes turned red when he saw Lu Ming turn a large amount of spirit herbs into medicinal liquid. "Here, take a few." Lu Ming threw a few spirit herbs to Dandan, but he sighed in his heart. He was too good at consuming resources. His own cultivation consumed a terrifying amount of resources, 10 times more than others. Moreover, the cultivation of the myriad spirit battle body also required a large amount of resources. The growth of the Enlightenment Ancient Tree required a large amount of spiritual liquid. Without spiritual liquid, he could only replace it with medicinal liquid. Also, if Dandan wanted to recover, she couldn't do without spirit herbs. The speed at which he consumed resources was too terrifying. Ordinary people definitely couldn't bear it. During this period of time, he had killed many enemies and obtained a large amount of resources. Only then was he able to barely withstand it. But as long as these resources could be converted into strength, it was worth it. Taking a deep breath, Lu Ming threw away the distracting thoughts in his mind. With the help of the enlightenment ancient tree, he began to comprehend the exploding star fist. During this period, he didn't have the chance to use the enlightenment ancient tree. Now that he used the enlightenment ancient tree, his comprehension of the exploding star fist had greatly improved. In the blink of an eye, a day had passed. The next day, Lu Ming and Xian Yinqing went to the Fate Battle platform again. It was a good place, and they didn't want to miss it. Unfortunately, Lu Ming went to the Fate Battle platform today, but still, no one challenged him. In a fit of anger, he said that he would come every day for the next few days and wait for experts to challenge him. However, Xian Yinqing had a person who challenged her. He wasn't weak, but he was killed by Xian Yinqing in the end. Your method is not bad. I'm going to cultivate in seclusion for a few days, Xian Yinqing said to Lu Ming. She seemed to have learned something. Lu Ming returned to the inn and continued to cultivate with the enlightenment ancient tree. The next day, he went to the Fate Battle platform again. On this day, no one challenged him again. For the next 3 days, Lu Ming went to the Fate Battle platform every day, but no one challenged him. After returning, he entered the Temple of Paragon to cultivate. For the next 5 days, no one challenged Lu Ming. However, with the help of the enlightenment ancient tree, Lu Ming's comprehension of the exploding star fist progressed extremely quickly. He had already cultivated to the 4th level, and the exploding star fist's power had increased again. On the 6th day, someone finally challenged Lu Ming. This person's battle strength was much stronger than Shuigang's. He had won 10 consecutive battles on the Fate Battle platform. Obviously, Lu Ming's daily visits had attracted the attention of some experts. Some experts had come to challenge him. Of course, the final result was still Lu Ming's victory. Azura's name was becoming more and more famous. Although Azura had only won 5 consecutive battles, he had defeated opponents who had won 10 consecutive battles. Moreover, no one knew where Lu Ming's limit was. Do you think King Yanluo will challenge Azura? Chapter 660. His words aroused the curiosity of many people. Many people were looking forward to the battle between Azura and Hades. Both of them had a lot in common. Both of them wore masks and sounded very young. Both of them had risen recently. Many people guessed that both of them were peerless geniuses from the outside world, and were even geniuses on the list of top 1,000 talents. However, Hades had not appeared since the battle between him and 7 Zen Old Monster. In the next 2 days, Lu Ming continued to fight, but no one challenged him. Once, he challenged someone, and the person directly admitted defeat and gave him 1,000,000 supreme-grade spiritual crystals. Lu Ming, fight with me. When Lu Ming returned to the inn, Xian Yinqing appeared in front of him and said, "Fight with you." Lu Ming was stunned. "Yes, I've already reached the threshold of combining 2 wills, but I still need an external force to suppress me. However, the martial artists on the Fate Battle platform are too weak to give me this kind of pressure, so I can only ask you." Xian Yinqing said, "Okay." Lu Ming naturally would not refuse to help Xian Yinqing cultivate. The two of them left the city and appeared in the sky above a barren mountain tens of thousands of miles away. They stood opposite each other. Boom! Xian Yinqing's destruction wills and wind wills burst out at the same time. They intertwined and turned into a cyan palm print that blasted toward Lu Ming. Exploding star fist. Lu Ming blasted out a fist radiance that shook the void. Boom! The fist radiance and the palm print collided. With a roar, the palm print trembled, but the fist radiance disappeared. Not enough power. Lu Ming, increase your power. Xian Yinqing's voice sounded, and his aura surged out. Okay. Circulating the true dragon battle art, the true essence within Lu Ming's body began to rapidly circulate. Boom! A fist light that seemed to be able to connect the heavens and the earth, fusing with the concept of fire, blasted towards Xian Yinqing's palm. With a loud bang, Xian Yinqing's palm imprint exploded. However, Lu Ming didn't hold back at all. He punched out a second time, then a third time. Streams of fist aura pierced through the void and blasted towards Xian Yinqing. Great demonic palm! Xian Yinqing yelled out. Both of her palms struck out, and a series of black palm prints blended with the concept of destruction and the concept of wind blasted towards Lu Ming. Boom! Boom! This area of the void was boiling, and the sound of violent explosions could be heard constantly. In the blink of an eye, the two of them had exchanged dozens of moves. In the beginning, the two of them were still testing each other, but gradually, their strength continued to increase. Lu Ming brandished his fists, and the speed of his punches became faster and faster. In an instant, dozens of fist aura burst out. On the other hand, Xian Yinqing was completely using the two concepts to resist and try to fuse the two concepts. Yes, that's it. Xian Yinqing's eyes became brighter and brighter. Lu Ming also completely let go of his hands and feet, and the fist aura continued to bombard. Xian Yinqing's strength was strong enough and could completely block it. Lu Ming wasn't worried about hurting Xian Yinqing. In the blink of an eye, 100 moves had passed. Lu Ming felt that the exploding star fist was becoming smoother and smoother. His comprehension of the exploding star fist was also gradually deepening. At the same time, the exploding star fist was like a sledgehammer, constantly tempering Xian Yinqing's concept, causing the two concepts to slowly merge. If Xian Yinqing's two concepts were successfully merged, her combat strength would definitely increase by a large margin. The two of them fought for more than 300 moves before stopping. How is it? Lu Ming walked over and asked. Yes, I have a great feeling. I believe that I will be able to break through in a short period of time. Xian Yinqing nodded excitedly, then looked at Lu Ming with a smile and said, You helped me so much. Aren't you afraid that I will suppress you when I break through? Haha, even if you break through, you may not be able to suppress me. Moreover, I will also improve. In this lifetime, you will never be able to surpass me. Lu Ming laughed, feeling complacent. Shameless. Humph, let's see how I will surpass you. Xian Yinqing's small mouth curled up, revealing a faint smile. Then, the two of them chatted as they returned. In the next 2 days, Lu Ming didn't go to the Fate Battle platform, but went into seclusion to cultivate. 2 days later, a piece of news spread. Old monster Demonic Wind wanted to challenge Azura on the Fate Battle platform and asked Azura to accept the challenge. As soon as the news spread, the entire city was shaken. Old monster Demonic Wind was an old monster who had lived for a long time, at least 500 years. A few hundred years ago, he was already a peak king. Although he hadn't broken through to the Sea of Soul Realm, his martial skills, secret arts, and other aspects had already been cultivated to a frightening level. His battle strength was extremely frightening. Such a character wanted to challenge Azura. Everyone was incomparably curious and excited. Therefore, the news quickly spread to Lu Ming's ears. Old monster Demonic Wind. Interesting. Lu Ming revealed a faint smile. Seems like an expert has appeared. Let's go. I'll accompany you to take a look. Xian Yinqing walked over, and the two of them walked towards the Fate Battle platform. Halfway there, they changed into black robes and put on masks. Azura is here. As soon as Lu Ming arrived, the whole place burst into cries of surprise. The Fate Battle platform was already filled with people. After all, Azura's name had been getting more and more famous recently, almost catching up to Yama King. As for old monster Demonic Wind, he was a famous old monster in the sea region near Golden Sand Island. Apart from Sea of Soul Realm experts, no one dared to provoke him. The battle between the two naturally attracted the attention of the majority of people. Many people rushed over as soon as they heard the news. Lu Ming stepped on the air and landed on the platform. Countless eyes looked at him. Hee. A dry, cold laugh resounded as a skinny old man wearing a green robe appeared on the platform. Many people didn't even see how he appeared. So fast. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. Old monster Demonic Wind had clearly cultivated wind mentality, and his speed was frightening. Lu Ming. On the platform, Luo Xian's eyes flickered. Today, Luo Xian had also come. Similarly, Chen Dao and Chen Zhao had also arrived and were watching together. I hope old monster Demonic Wind can kill this kid. Chen Zhao prayed inwardly. You're Azura? I heard that you're just a kid. Don't try to act mysterious in front of this old man. Take off your mask. Old monster Demonic Wind stood in front of Lu Ming and chuckled. You want me to take off my mask? Sure, but let's see if you have the ability. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Hee, it's good for young people to be confident, but don't underestimate your seniors. After all, You haven't lived your life for nothing." As soon as he finished speaking, old monster demonic wind's figure disappeared. In the next instant, Lu Ming felt a gust of wind whistling in front of him as a claw reached for his mask. Without hesitation, Lu Ming took a step back and retreated rapidly. "Hee, you can't escape." Old monster demonic wind moved again and followed closely behind Lu Ming, his claw reaching for Lu Ming's mask. Bang! Lu Ming suddenly threw a punch in front of him. Chapter 661. The fist light missed and pierced through the void before landing on the light screen on the other side of the stage, causing the light screen to tremble. This old man has such terrifying control. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. Old monster demonic wind had perfect control over every bit of his power. Every time he attacked, he would not waste a single bit of his power. His attacks were precise and precise. Shura is in trouble. At this moment, everyone had the same thought. Old monster demonic wind was way too powerful. He was indeed an old monster that had dominated this ocean region for hundreds of years. No one below the Sea of Souls realm would dare to mess with him. Many people thought that although Lu Ming was strong, he shouldn't be old monster demonic wind's opponent. 9 dragons stomping the sky. At this moment, Lu Ming executed the 9 dragons stomping the sky steps. His body turned into a stream of light as he soared into the sky, instantly dodging old monster demonic wind's attack. Old monster demonic wind's claw missed and was slightly stunned. He looked up at the sky and saw Lu Ming floating in the air. "I didn't expect you to have such a footwork. Not bad, but I wonder how strong your attack is." Old monster demonic wind chuckled. "If you want to know, then I'll let you try." Boom, boom. Lu Ming's fists punched out continuously. In an instant, he had thrown out dozens of punches. Streams of fist energy fell like meteors toward old monster demonic wind. Old monster demonic wind's eyes turned cold as he waved his hands. Whoosh, whoosh. Wind blades were formed and flew up into the sky, colliding with the fist force that was coming down from the sky. Strong winds and raging flames spread in all directions, engulfing the fighting stage. The wind blades and fist energy canceled each other out. Again, Lu Ming yelled as he increased his Zhen Yuan. This time, he threw out hundreds of punches. The entire space was filled with fist energy. In the stands, Chen Zhao's face was pale. The strength that Lu Ming had displayed could easily defeat his elder brother, Chen Dao. In every battle, Lu Ming seemed to have no upper limit. He gave off a feeling of a bottomless abyss. Old monster demonic wind's face turned grave. Demonic wind slash. A long sword appeared in old monster demonic wind's hand, emitting a dazzling green light. His body soared into the sky as a green sword light flashed out. Sizzle. Old freak demonic wind's figure rushed into the fist radiance that filled the sky with an ear-piercing sound. Whoosh. In the end, old monster demonic wind broke through the range of the fist radiance and rushed into the sky, standing side by side with Lu Ming. "It's my turn now." Old monster demonic wind's voice sounded, but he had already vanished. He seemed to transform into a gust of wind that drifted through the world. Hoo-hoo, the wind was really blowing in the sky. As the wind rose, the temperature dropped sharply. Then, snowflakes appeared out of thin air. Along with the strong wind, they swept towards Lu Ming. Concept of wind, concept of snow. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. Not only did old monster demonic wind cultivate the concept of wind, but he also cultivated the concept of snow. Both wills were at the first level of perfection. It's here. It's said that old monster demonic wind has comprehended 2 concepts. It's true. Yes, it's said that old monster demonic wind was very ambitious back then. He wanted to comprehend 2 concepts, but he was stuck at the Peking realm. That's why he couldn't break through to the Sea of Soul realm. If he had only comprehended 1 concept, he probably would have broken through to the Sea of Soul realm long ago. But the power of 2 concepts is unquestionable. Azura is in danger. Many of the older generation figures on the viewing platform began to discuss excitedly. Haha, Junior, die. Old monster demonic wind's smug voice sounded from the wind and snow. What's there to be smug about? He comprehended 2 concepts, but he didn't succeed in fusing them. The increase in power is also very limited. Lu Ming's expression was still very calm as he waved his fists. Streams of fist energy shot out, blocking the wind and snow around him. These snowflakes were snow-white and even sharper than spirit weapons. Each snowflake could probably pierce through a 100-meter-wide mountain. Concept fusion? Junior, what do you know? Do you think it's that easy to fuse two concepts? You're really ignorant. Old Monster Demonic Wind's voice was filled with disdain and reprimand. Is it that hard to fuse two concepts? Lu Ming smiled faintly. As Lu Ming's voice fell, Lu Ming's fist aura suddenly changed. The fist light not only contained the concept of fire, but also the concept of lightning. As soon as the concepts of lightning and fire appeared, the two concepts fused together perfectly, causing the power of the exploding star fist to increase greatly. Boom, boom. The boundless fist light directly pierced through the wind and snow. With a miserable cry, a figure appeared and frantically retreated. The concepts of lightning and fire have fused perfectly. How is this possible? How is this possible? Blood flowed from the corner of Old Monster Demonic Wind's mouth, but he didn't care. His eyes were fixed on Lu Ming. The audience was also dumbfounded. Lu Ming had also comprehended two concepts and had successfully fused them. On the other hand, Old Monster Demonic Wind hadn't. It was clear at a glance who was stronger and who was weaker. What's impossible? Just because you can't fuse them doesn't mean that others can't. Lu Ming said faintly, "Tell me, how did you fuse them? Tell me, tell me." Old Monster Demonic Wind roared. His eyes were red as he stared at Lu Ming. Old Monster Demonic Wind had tried many methods over the years, but he still couldn't fuse them successfully. It was like a demon in his heart. "Let me tell you, you can't fuse them either. It requires talent." Lu Ming said faintly. He wasn't wrong. In fact, he wasn't the only one who thought of this method. Others could have thought of it as well, but how many people could successfully fuse them? To put it bluntly, it required talent. He had the talent, and now it seemed that Xian Yinqing also had the talent. Old Monster Demonic Wind had cultivated for hundreds of years, but he still couldn't fuse them successfully. But Old Monster Demonic Wind obviously didn't believe it. "Bullshit, what talent? Brat, if you don't tell me, I'll make you suffer a fate worse than death." Old Monster Demonic Wind roared. "Old man, is there something wrong with your head? Do you think you're a match for me?" Lu Ming shook his head and smiled. "Take my strongest move." Old Monster Demonic Wind roared as the wind and snow essences spread out again. "I can't be bothered to waste time with you. I'll send you on your way." There was a cold smile at the corners of Lu Ming's lips. Boom. In the next moment, the three essences of wind, fire, and thunder erupted at the same time, turning into a dazzling spear light. Old Monster Demonic Wind's eyes widened to the size of copper bells as he roared in disbelief. Three concepts fused together. He couldn't bear it. He had spent his whole life trying to fuse two essences, but Lu Ming had fused three. Moreover, he was so young. Could it really be because of his talent? Swoosh. The dazzling spear light pierced through the void and instantly appeared in front of Old Monster Demonic Wind. It pierced through all of Old Monster Demonic Wind's defenses. Chapter 662. There was complete silence around the Fate fighting platform. Everyone widened their eyes and stared intently at Lu Ming's figure on the platform. Old Monster Demonic Wind had been killed in one shot. Lu Ming had merged three wills. Was this Lu Ming's true strength? It was too terrifying. Or perhaps, this was not Lu Ming's true strength. After the silence, there was a fierce uproar. Some people were discussing excitedly, while others were screaming excitedly. "Is this his true strength?" Luo Xian whispered, her eyes filled with disbelief. Beside her, Chun Zhao's body began to tremble violently. It was because of fear and shock. It turned out that ever since he had met Lu Ming had never shown his true strength. What he had seen was only the tip of the iceberg. Even though he had repeatedly provoked Lu Ming, he had not shown his strength to kill him. Perhaps, Lu Ming could not be bothered to reveal his abilities in front of him. He could not even be bothered to kill him. Perhaps, in Lu Ming's eyes, He was no different from a wild dog barking by the roadside. He did not take him seriously at all. Thinking of this, he was filled with a deep sense of powerlessness. His brother, whom he had always been proud of, was probably defeated by Lu Ming in one move. In the battle platform, Lu Ming's figure flashed and devoured old monster demonic wind's essence blood. At the same time, the storage ring naturally fell into his hands. Who else? Who wants to come up and fight? Lu Ming's clear voice resounded throughout the entire Fate battle platform. The entire Fate battle platform fell silent. What a joke. Even an old monster like Old Monster Demonic Wind had died. Who else would be willing to court death? Lu Ming waited for 2 minutes and glanced around. Seeing that no one wanted to come up, he was about to leave. The King of Hell is here. At this moment, a loud shout resounded throughout the Fate battle platform. The entire Fate battle platform fell silent, followed by an earth-shattering uproar. What? The King of Hell is here? Where is he? Really? Where is he? At the main entrance. Look. After a moment of noise, everyone's gaze turned towards the direction of the entrance. Lu Ming's heart stirred, and he also looked in that direction. A black-robed man wearing a Yama mask slowly made his way into the palace. As he took one step at a time, he stepped on the void and appeared at the edge of the fighting ring. On the mask, 2 sharp eyes stared at Lu Ming. Lu Ming also looked at him. Everyone suddenly felt their heartbeats quicken. Could it be that the King of Hell wants to challenge the Azura? It's possible. It's possible. The King of Hell has disappeared for so many days and has finally reappeared. Now that such a powerful opponent has appeared, he might really make his move. Heavens, Yama versus Azura. Who is stronger? I'm looking forward to it. Indeed, I'm looking forward to it. Ever since the rise of the King of Hell, he has never tasted defeat. He has killed several old monsters. However, no one knows how strong Shura is. He probably didn't use his full strength when killing Old Monster Demonic Wind. Hundreds of thousands of pairs of eyes stared at Lu Ming and the King of Hell with anticipation in their eyes. The King of Hell versus Azura. This was going to be a battle of the pinnacle. Clang! The sound of a sword rang out, and the aura of the King of Hell suddenly surged. His body emitted a dazzling golden light, and a golden sword light shot into the sky. Boom! In an instant, as if there was a connection between the aura, Lu Ming's body also erupted with a powerful aura, and a spear light shot into the sky. Then, the sword light and the spear light met in the air and collided violently. An earth-shattering explosion rang out, and the force of the collision swept out in all directions. Just the collision of the auras was enough to make the scene shocking. Are they really going to fight? At this moment, everyone held their breaths and stared with wide eyes, unblinking. However, to their disappointment, the King of Hell and Azura did not make a move after the collision of auras. Azura stood in the battle platform, while the King of Hell stood in the air. They did not fight. This person is so strong. Lu Ming's eyes shone brightly, and they were like 2 divine spears that pierced through the air. Lu Ming felt an immense pressure coming from the King of Hell. He had never felt such pressure from a martial artist of the same level as him. The King of Hell was definitely a terrifying opponent. At the same time, the golden light in the King of Hell's eyes shone brightly, as if 2 golden swords were about to shoot out. He did not move, as he also felt a strong pressure coming from Lu Ming. He was not confident, and he had a feeling that if they were to fight, one of them would definitely die. Moreover, he was not confident that he would be the one to win. The King of Hell was also surprised. He did not expect to meet such a strong opponent here. Even in the entire Eastern Wilderness, there were not many people like him. The 2 of them faced off for a while, and suddenly, the King of Hell retracted his aura. At the same time, Lu Ming also retracted his aura. Without saying anything else, the King of Hell turned around and left. They are not fighting anymore. Almost everyone was disappointed. They thought that there would be a battle of the pinnacle. Both of them are too strong. Neither of them is confident of defeating the other. That's right. There is no doubt that these 2 are peerless geniuses. Even on the list of top 1,000 talents, they are evenly matched. Some of the older generation figures said they had figured out the reason. Many people sighed, as they could not see a battle of the pinnacle. Clang. At that instant, a melodious chime could be heard. Clang. Before the first bell had finished ringing, the second bell rang, sounding very urgent. Most of the people's expressions changed drastically. Alarm. Why is the alarm ringing? Someone yelled. Sea beasts are attacking the island. Sea beasts are attacking the island. Suddenly, an earth-shattering roar rang out outside the Fate battle platform. The roar swept through the entire city like a storm and spread wildly into the distance. What? Sea beasts are attacking the island? At this moment, everyone's expression changed drastically. Sea beasts are attacking the island. A beast tide is coming. Everyone, head to the eastern sea and attack the sea beasts. The voice rang out again, rumbling in the air. The owner of the voice had a terrifying cultivation. He was definitely a Sea of Spirit Realm expert. Clang, clang. At the same time, the alarm kept ringing. It was very urgent. Let's go to the Eastern Sea. Let's go. The audience around the Fate battle platform rose into the air like locusts and flew toward the gap above. Sea beasts are attacking the island. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. A figure appeared beside Lu Ming. It was Xian Yinqing. Xiaoqing, let's go and have a look, Lu Ming said. Xian Yinqing nodded and rose into the air with Lu Ming. They blended into the crowd and headed toward the Eastern Sea. In the city, countless figures flew out, blotting out the sky and covering the earth as they flew toward the Eastern Sea. Not only in the city, but also in the mountains around the city. A large number of experts also flew out and headed toward the Eastern Sea. Whenever there was a beast tide or sea beasts attacking the island, all the martial artists had to unite and fight together. This was a long-standing rule in the chaotic astral ocean. Otherwise, these islands would have been ravaged by sea beasts long ago. Chapter 663. Rumble. A loud rumbling sound came from the distant sea, and the waves surged to the sky. Everyone stood in the air and looked into the distance. They could see a white line surging towards them. It was a shocking wave. The Farsi patrol has sent back a message. A large number of sea beasts are charging towards us. Prepare for battle. An old man in a plain robe appeared in the air, his voice rumbling and spreading throughout the area. The aura emitted from his body was like a vast ocean. It was extremely shocking. This was a Sea of Soul Realm expert. Rumble. The sound of the waves was even more shocking. Everyone felt that the sky and the earth were shaking violently. The huge waves were accompanied by the roars of the sea beasts. The waves were getting closer and closer. Everyone's eyes were wide open. That wave was too shocking. It was at least 1,000 meters high and seemed to be reaching into the clouds, washing away the clouds. Countless sea beasts were rolling in the waves. That's the blood shark race, someone shouted. In one of the waves, everyone saw countless blood-red sharks. These sharks were extremely huge. Any one of them was dozens of meters long. They were blood-red all over, and their roars were endless. It was unknown how many there were. Swordfish race, sea lion race, tiger shark race. Everyone saw a total of 9 groups of sea beasts. They were divided into 9 regions, bringing with them waves as they charged over. The number of sea beasts in each region was hard to count. There were just too many of them. Look, there are people on the waves. There's a person on top of each race. Someone exclaimed. Indeed, there was a figure on top of each of the 9 races. They were walking on the waves, and their auras were shocking. Those aren't humans. They're transformed great beasts, the kings of each race. Above the crowd, the Sea of Soul Realm expert said with a grave tone. What? Transformed great beasts? The transformed great beasts of the 9 races are all here? How is this possible? Many people exclaimed. 6th grade beasts were equivalent to Sea of Soul Realm experts. They could already transform into human form, so they were also called transformed great beasts. Shapeshifted great beasts lead their own clans and occupy an area of the sea. There are only 7 clans of sea beasts near Jinsha Island. Why are there 9? The beast wave this time is too shocking. In the past, there would only be some small-scale beast waves, and Sea of Souls realm beasts would rarely appear. The scene was in an uproar. Some people's eyes were filled with fear. Countless sea beasts were rolling and roaring in the rapidly approaching waves. The pressure they gave off was too great. Boom, boom. Numerous figures appeared in the sky, each of them emanating an aura that was as vast as the ocean. Sea of Souls realm. All of them were Sea of Souls realm experts. There were 10 of them in total. This caused many martial artists' panicked hearts to calm down slightly. All the Sea of Soul realm experts hiding in Golden Sand Island had appeared. That's the Frost Blade Spirit. The Frost Blade Spirit has also appeared. Someone shouted. Among the 10 Sea of Souls realm experts, there was a white-robed old man. His aura was the most frightening, a lot stronger than the other Sea of Souls realm experts. Haha, this is great. I heard that the Frost Blade Spirit has been in seclusion for 60 years. This beast wave has actually alarmed him. With him here, our chances are much higher this time. Someone saw the white-robed old man and laughed excitedly. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing were mixed in the crowd, looking at the sky. Jinsha Island is truly shocking. There are actually so many experts hidden here. Lu Ming sighed inwardly. Among the crowd, apart from the 10 Sea of Souls realm experts, there were also many other powerful auras. One after another, they rose up like smoke signals. Among them, Lu Ming could feel the auras of Peak Kings. There were no less than 500 of them. Jinsha Island alone had gathered no less than 500 Peak Kings. It was absolutely frightening. The chaotic astral ocean was indeed worthy of being called the chaotic astral ocean. There were too many experts. Every day, there would be many evil people entering the chaotic astral ocean from various regions of the eastern wasteland. A king had a lifespan of 1,000 years. After so many years, who knew how many experts there were in the chaotic astral ocean? It had definitely reached an astonishing number. Rumble. The waves were getting closer and closer, and a fiendish aura pervaded the air. Kill. Kill all the human martial artists. Above the Blood Shark clan's territory, a large man in a blood-red robe stood, roaring loudly. This was the Blood Shark clan's king, who had transformed into a great beast. Kill. Kill. Countless sea beasts roared and pounced toward the island. When demonic beasts reached the 5th level, which was the king level, they would be able to speak. All martial artists below the martial ancestor realm, retreat. All martial artists above the martial ancestor realm, attack the sea beasts with all your strength. If anyone retreats, kill without mercy. In the air, the Ice Blade Spirit Warrior's voice resounded throughout the entire area. It was incomparably tyrannical. However, no one retorted. Everyone knew that in the current situation, if someone retreated without fighting, there would definitely be more people following suit. Jinsha Island would definitely be in danger. Kill. Kill. Apart from the Ice Blade Spirit Warrior, the other 9 Sea of Soul Realm experts roared and charged toward the transformed great beasts of the 9 clans with frightening might. Rumble. Rumble. The Sea of Soul Realm experts and transformed great beasts fiercely clashed, causing intense rumbling sounds. Kill. The other human martial artists also roared and charged toward the sea beasts. Both sides crazily clashed. All kinds of sword chi, blade lights, palm prints, and fist auras bombarded the waves, causing them to explode. The sea beasts charged out of the water and engaged in a fierce battle with the human martial artists. Blood splattered everywhere. As soon as they came into contact, a large number of sea beasts were killed. At the same time, human martial artists also died tragically. The battle was incomparably tragic as soon as it began. Among the human martial artists, apart from the martial ancestor realm experts, only the Ice Blade Spirit Warrior did not make a move. He stood in the void and scanned the surroundings. As the strongest human martial artist, he had to control the overall situation in case of an emergency. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing charged forward side by side. The area they were in was the territory of the tiger sharks. Roar. Roar. The roar of the tiger sharks was actually similar to that of a ferocious tiger. Their roars were like thunder, and their teeth, which were sharper than blades, bit toward Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing. Lu Ming waved his hand and a spear light stabbed out, piercing through a 30-meter-long tiger shark. Blood dyed the sea red. This tiger shark was equivalent to a 7th-grade martial king realm expert. Devouring power burst out and devoured the tiger shark's blood essence. On the side, Xian Yinqing's sky demon power field enveloped 5 or 6 tiger sharks and killed them directly. Lu Ming's figure flashed as he devoured all the blood essence. Kill. The infinite dragon spear appeared in his hand, and Lu Ming charged forward. Wherever the spear light passed, the giant tiger sharks would die in his hands. Swoosh. Chapter 664. Human, die. 100-meter-long tiger shark charged at Lu Ming with blood-red eyes. It opened its mouth, and 5 or 6 scimitars flew out, slashing at Lu Ming. Those scimitars were actually formed from the teeth of the tiger shark, and were even sharper than a level 5 spiritual weapon. Lu Ming could tell the strength of a Peak King level tiger shark with a single glance. Dang! Dang! Lu Ming swept out his long spear and deflected 5 to 6 scimitars. A tricolored spear gleam burst out and shot directly into the head of this tiger shark, piercing a transparent hole in the tiger shark. After killing a Peak King level tiger shark with a single move, Yi Chun devoured its essence blood. Lu Ming didn't stop at all and continued to kill. Not only did he devour the essence blood of the tiger sharks he killed, but he also devoured the essence blood of the tiger sharks killed by others. His figure flashed, and the essence blood of the tiger sharks of various levels were devoured by him. Too good. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. It had been a long time since he participated in such a large-scale battle. Such a large-scale battle was hell for others, but for him, it was a holy land for cultivation. He circulated the devouring power of the 9 dragons' bloodline on his palm, and continuously devoured the essence blood of the tiger sharks. Of course, if a martial artist died in battle, he wouldn't let them go, and devoured all of their essence blood. He split a part of his attention to control the 9 dragons' bloodline, and used it to refine the essence blood to upgrade his second bloodline. Kill that masked guy. A loud roar came from nearby, and 3 huge tiger sharks charged at Lu Ming. Shoo! The seawater was condensed into long spears that pierced toward Lu Ming. At the same time, there were also scimitars that cut through the void, breaking through the air to kill. Lu Ming's aura skyrocketed, and he shot into the sky. With a few steps, 3 Peak King level tiger sharks were killed. Not far away, Xian Yinqing was even more shocking. The heavenly demon force field was a perverse existence in a group battle. As long as the tiger sharks were enveloped by the heavenly demon force field, they would be cut into several pieces. Under the spiritual sea, Xian Yinqing and Lu Ming were invincible. Wong. A streak of silver light shot towards Lu Ming at an unimaginable speed. This was also a tiger shark, but it was only 10 meters long. Its entire body was silver, and its body was densely covered with a layer of silver scales. Lu Ming subconsciously swept out with his spear. Bang! Lu Ming's long spear swept across the silver tiger shark's body. It was as if he had been struck by a 10,000-foot-tall mountain. His body trembled, and he could not help but retreat 3 steps. However, that silver tiger shark was also sent flying by Lu Ming. What a powerful force! Lu Ming's heart stirred. After the silver tiger shark flew out, it was completely fine. It roared and charged towards Lu Ming again. Under the silver tiger shark's control, the seawater turned into all kinds of weapons. Sharp swords, spears. There were over 100 swords in total, and they surrounded Lu Ming. This is a mutated tiger shark. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. Some demonic beasts had the bloodline of ancient divine beasts and ferocious beasts. They were incomparably powerful and were much stronger than demonic beasts of the same level. Clearly, this tiger shark was a remnant species. Many demonic beasts with powerful bloodlines not only had immense strength, but their demonic power was also incomparably strong. When they reached a certain level, they would awaken the battle skills hidden in their bloodline and possess various magical abilities. Moreover, demonic beasts were different from martial artists. Demonic beasts did not comprehend the concept of heaven and earth like martial artists, but demonic beasts were naturally inclined towards a certain attribute. They were born to be able to master a certain attribute, and as their strength grew, they would become stronger and stronger. This was a talent that the human race could not compare to. Break for me. The long spear swept out, and all the weapons formed by seawater instantly collapsed. A tricolored spear light burst out and shot towards the silver tiger shark's head. Bang! The silver tiger shark was like a cannonball and was sent flying. Along the way, it directly collided with a few powerful tiger sharks and flew for a few thousand meters before stopping. However, it was not dead yet. On its head, there was only a hole that was a few feet deep. Such strong defense, such hard scales. Lu Ming was secretly surprised. After being stabbed by his spear light, it was actually not penetrated. This tiger shark's defense was astonishing. Strong. This human's attack power is too strong. Hurry up and leave. Lu Ming was surprised, but the silver tiger shark was simply terrified. Once it stabilized its body, it hurriedly flew into the distance. Wanna leave? Stay for me. Lu Ming used the 9 Dragons' heaven-stomping steps, and his speed was unbelievably fast. He turned into a stream of light and caught up with the silver tiger shark in a few moves. Wanna kill me? Die. Demonic beasts were originally very vicious. Seeing that the silver tiger shark could not escape, the ferocity in its heart was aroused, and it pounced towards Lu Ming. Whoosh! What welcomed him was an incomparably sharp spear. This time, it was not a spear light, but the tip of the infinite dragon spear's corpse. Poochie! The infinite dragon spear directly pierced into the silver tiger shark's head. The silver tiger shark roared and stopped breathing. Poochie! Lu Ming pulled out the long spear and devoured the silver tiger shark's blood essence. At this moment, Lu Ming's expression changed slightly. Boom! His body was suffused with a bloody light, emitting a powerful fluctuation. His second bloodline was about to evolve. Lu Ming tried his best to suppress the fluctuation of his second bloodline, trying not to attract attention. Lu Ming felt that the strength of his second bloodline was rapidly increasing. Boom! In the end, his second bloodline could not be suppressed anymore. 8 bright silver rings appeared above his head, shining brightly and attracting the attention of many people. Fortunately, when the second bloodline appeared, it had already evolved successfully. The crowd did not see the process of the evolution, only the result. They thought that Lu Ming originally had an 8th-level king bloodline. Although an 8th-level king bloodline was extremely shocking, no one paid attention to it in this life and death battle. Lu Ming had never used his bloodline in the previous battles, so everyone thought that Lu Ming originally had an 8th-level king bloodline. However, there was one exception, and that was Xian Yanqing. Not far away, Xian Yanqing saw the 8 silver chakras on Lu Ming's bloodline and pouted slightly. When this guy first awakened his second bloodline, he was only a 3rd-level king. Now he has become an 8th-level king, and his bloodline can evolve. This guy is hiding a lot of things from me. Xian Yanqing muttered softly. Kill this girl. At this time, 2 silver-colored tiger sharks charged towards Xian Yanqing. Heavenly Demon Force Field, Destruction Cut. Xian Yanqing shouted as she engaged in a fierce battle with the 2 silver tiger sharks. After a few breaths, Lu Ming withdrew his second bloodline and continued to fight. The battle was intense. The sea was blood-red, and there were corpses of humans and sea beasts floating on it. There were more than 500,000 martial artists above the martial grandmaster realm on Jinsha Island, and more than 50,000 experts above the martial king realm. However, there were even more sea beasts. They were densely packed, covering thousands of miles of sea area and attacking fearlessly. Chapter 665. In fact, the longer the battle went on, the more the human side was at a disadvantage. This was because there were more sea beasts at the peak king level than the human side. Among them, there were many powerful descendants. Take the silver tiger shark, for example. Although Lu Ming could kill it, it was a nightmarish existence to other peak kings. I need to kill more peak king level demonic beasts. Otherwise, it will be more and more disadvantageous for the human race. Lu Ming's gaze swept over the battlefield. He didn't need to worry about Xian Yanqing. As long as a Sea of Soul Realm expert didn't appear, Xian Yanqing wouldn't be in danger. Lu Ming took a step forward and disappeared. The next moment, he appeared beside a tiger shark that was a peak-level king. He pierced the tiger shark with his spear and killed it. Then, he took another step forward and attacked the next tiger shark that was a peak-level king. He didn't attack the other tiger sharks and only targeted the peak king-level tiger sharks. Several hundred miles away, two old men were being completely suppressed by a silver tiger shark. These two old men were also two old monsters in the nearby ocean region. They had lived for several hundred years and were extremely powerful. However, the two of them together weren't a match for this silver tiger shark. In fact, they couldn't even break through the silver tiger shark's defense. The silver tiger shark didn't fear death and continuously attacked the two. Pong! One of the old men was struck by the silver tiger shark's tail and was sent flying over 1,000 meters, spitting out large mouthfuls of blood. This kind of descendant is too strong. We're not its match at all. The other old man hurriedly retreated. However, the silver tiger shark crazily chased after him and couldn't escape. Could it be that I'm going to die in the mouth of this beast today? The old man sighed. Although he tried his best to defend, he was still struck by the silver tiger shark until he spat out large mouthfuls of blood. My life is over, the old man said in his heart. However, right at this moment, a figure wearing a black robe and a Shura mask suddenly appeared beside the silver tiger shark. A terrifying spear directly pierced through the silver tiger shark's head. Blood splattered everywhere as the silver tiger shark was killed. After that, this figure slapped the silver tiger shark's wound with his palm, and then his figure flashed and disappeared. The old man was dumbfounded. What a powerful attack! The old man who was sent flying by the silver tiger shark's tail flew over, his eyes filled with admiration. They tried their best, but were unable to break through the silver tiger shark's defense. But this figure, with a single spear strike, killed the silver tiger shark. This attack power was truly terrifying. That person should be Azura. I heard that he's a young man. The old man behind him spoke, as if he had just woken up from a dream. What a young hero. The old man from before sighed. Let's go and kill those ordinary peak king-level tiger sharks, the old man behind said. Then, the two of them charged towards the two ordinary peak king-level tiger sharks. The one who made a move to kill the silver tiger shark was naturally Lu Ming. He naturally didn't know what the two elders were thinking. At this moment, his target was the peak king-level tiger sharks. In just over 10 minutes, he had already killed 16 peak king-level tiger sharks. What a powerful blood essence. It's too strong. The essence blood of 16 peak king-level tiger sharks was too rich. The essence blood of demonic beasts was usually richer and stronger than that of humans. Lu Ming continued to refine the blood essence as he continued to hunt. This time, he continued to use the essence blood to upgrade his second bloodline. Just now, when his second bloodline upgraded to the 8th grade king level, the mist on the stone steel seemed to have faded a bit, and the words on the stone steel became clearer. There should be 3 words on the stone steel. The first word was suppress. The third word was steal. Only the second word was still a bit blurry. Lu Ming had a feeling that as long as his second bloodline upgraded to the 9th grade king level, he would be able to see the second word clearly. At that time, he might have an unexpected harvest. Lu Ming continued to kill peak king-level demonic beasts while refining the essence blood. On the other side, within the group of blood sharks, a figure wearing a Yama mask was emitting a dazzling golden light. The terrifying golden light flickered as it rampaged through the group of blood sharks. Every time it flickered and a golden sword light flashed, a peak king-level blood shark would be killed. One sword strike to kill. Similarly, wherever Xian Yinqing passed, sea beasts would be killed, regardless of their level. Lu Ming charged for a while, and more than 20 peak king-level tiger sharks had died in his hands. At this time, he killed his way out of the area of the tiger sharks and into the area of the sea lions. Among the sea lions, there were also descendants that were extremely powerful, but they were still killed by Lu Ming with one spear strike. Before long, Lu Ming had already devoured the essence blood of more than 30 peak king-level demonic beasts. Splash! At this moment, the sea rolled and rushed to the shore. In the sea, there were countless huge figures circling. They were actually huge sea snakes. Each of them was dozens of meters long, and their bodies were thicker than a water tank. When they opened their mouths, a martial artist would be swallowed. When their bodies coiled, a martial artist would be entangled to death. Deep-sea giant snake. It's the deep-sea giant snake. Someone exclaimed. What's going on? Another race has appeared. This is too abnormal. How can this be? Ah, watch out. Screams and screams filled the air. Splash. The sea rolled, and everyone saw two huge snakes in the sea. Their bodies were more than 100 meters long, and their powerful auras were extremely shocking. With a swing of their tails, a large number of martial artists were whipped and exploded. Even the Peak King level experts were the same. They had no power to fight back. These two huge deep-sea snakes were both shape-shifted great beasts. With two shape-shifted great beasts equivalent to Sea of Soul realm attacking, the human side was in a one-sided situation. Evil beast, you're courting death. In the air, the Han Dao spirit warrior hadn't made a move yet. At this moment, he shouted coldly and stepped out, walking toward the two shape-shifted great beasts. Show! Show! Snow-white blade lights flew out. Every time a blade light flew out, a deep-sea giant snake would be killed. When the blade lights flew into the sea water instantly froze and turned into ice. A large number of deep-sea giant snakes were frozen in ice. Peak 3rd level of Sea of Soul realm. One of the huge deep-sea snakes said solemnly, "Since you know, then die." The Han Dao spirit warrior's aura surged as two snow-white blade lights slashed toward the two huge snakes. Old man, I'm your opponent. The waves behind him rolled, and a huge figure rushed out of the sea. Roar. The roar shook the sky. It was the roar of a dragon. Heavens, that's a flood dragon. Many people's eyes widened as they shouted in disbelief. The huge figure that appeared in the end was actually a blue flood dragon. This flood dragon's body was long and winding, more than 200 meters long. It had 4 claws under its abdomen, and its aura was terrifying. This was a real flood dragon, a living flood dragon with the bloodline of a true dragon. Lu Ming also looked over in shock. This was his first time seeing a living flood dragon. He had seen a dead one once, refined into a demonic corpse by the Sky Corpse sect. Chapter 666. The two waterspouts turned into two flood dragons, clashing with the blade light of Han Dao spirit. Both were annihilated. Roar. The flood dragons roared, and their blue, jade-like bodies pounced toward Han Dao spirit. Han Dao spirit had a powerful aura, and the snow-white blade aura danced around him, seemingly freezing the space. An icy saber radiance slashed toward the flood dragon. The flood dragon grabbed the saber light with its claw. Boundless energy surged out, tearing the surrounding sea beasts and human cultivators into pieces. Let's go up and fight. Han Dao spirit flew up into the sky, and so did the flood dragons. At their level, fighting on the ground would cause too much of an impact, and it would affect the other humans and beasts. Rumble. Han Dao spirit and the flood dragons fought all the way to the sky. However, the battle in the sea was even more intense. The sea beasts had joined the deep-sea giant snake clan, and their battle power had increased greatly, completely suppressing the humans. The deadliest thing was that the deep-sea giant snake clan had 2 spiritual sea-level beasts. They were so strong that no one could stop them. With a casual twist of their huge bodies, a large number of humans were killed. The 2 deep-sea giant snakes rampaged among the humans, and no one could stop them. Screams and wails resounded everywhere. Retreat! Retreat! 2 Sea of Soul Realm beasts. We can't stop them. Retreat! Someone yelled, not daring to stop them, and frantically retreated. In this way, the humans' defensive formation was completely messed up, and the sea beasts kept rushing into the area where the deep-sea giant snakes were. A large number of warriors were killed. This time, there were too many sea beasts, and they were too strong, surpassing all the previous times. Golden Sand Island can't be saved. We can only retreat to other islands. No, we've been on Golden Sand Island for hundreds of years. We can't leave like this. Hold on and wait for help. There were all kinds of cries, but the morale kept dropping, Spiritual sea realm beasts? Lu Ming looked in the direction of the deep-sea giant snakes. Then, he stepped into the air and turned into a beam of light, flying toward the deep-sea giant snakes. In another direction, a golden sword light was also heading towards the deep-sea giant serpent. The two beams of light were extremely fast. Within a dozen breaths, they had already approached the 2 of Soul's realm deep-sea snakes. True Dragon Strike. Lu Ming approached and stabbed out with his spear. A tricolored true dragon roared and danced in the air, pouncing towards one of the deep-sea giant snakes. An ant dares to attack me? You're courting death. The deep-sea giant snake snorted and spat out a black water column toward the tricolored true dragon. Boom! With a violent tremor, the water column and the tricolored true dragon both vanished. However, the deep-sea serpent's advance was also blocked. Not far away, a golden sword light also blocked another deep-sea giant snake. It was the King Yanluo. Lu Ming and the King of Hell were each facing a giant snake from the deep sea. The two deep-sea giant snakes should be at the early stage of the first layer of the 6th grade, which was equivalent to the early stage of the first layer of the spiritual sea realm. Previously, in the Cloud Sea Elixir Institution, Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Li Xiaoyun, and Gu Huaxiu had joined forces to injure the Patriarch of the Cloud Sea Elixir Institution. The Patriarch of the Cloud Sea Elixir Institution was at the peak of the first level of the spiritual sea realm. During the battle with the Cloud Sea Elixir Institution's ancestor, Lu Ming's cultivation was only at the peak of the 9th layer of the Martial King realm. Now that he had broken through to the peak of the King realm, his battle strength had greatly increased. Ever since he had broken through, he had not fought with his full strength. Now, this deep-sea giant snake was just right. Who is it? Who blocked the deep-sea giant snake? It's the King of Hell and Azura. Are they going to fight the Sea of Souls realm monsters? It's possible. Both of their battle powers are extremely terrifying. If the two of them are able to block the two giant snakes, we will have a chance. Martial King realm monsters at the spiritual sea realm? Is it possible? Whatever. We can only try. Let's attack and block the other sea beasts with all our strength. The surrounding human martial artists roared and organized their forces to block the other sea beasts. Azura, let's fight. Let's see who can kill this giant snake first. Suddenly, the King of Hell's voice sounded. It was very young, but it was filled with sharpness. All right, let's fight. Lu Ming's battle intent was also extremely high. Previously, the two of them were apprehensive and did not fight. Now, they could decide the winner through another kind of battle. However, when these words fell into the ears of the two giant snakes, they almost exploded in anger. Ant, you want to kill us? Go to hell. In front of Lu Ming, the deep-sea giant snake roared and opened its mouth, trying to devour Lu Ming. In its mouth, the snake's tongue was like a sharp sword, shooting towards Lu Ming. Kill! Lu Ming shouted. The three-colored spear turned into a spear light and pierced towards the giant snake. At the same time, the King of Hell and the deep-sea giant snake were also fighting. Clang! The deep-sea giant snake's tongue was like a real sharp sword. When it collided with the spear, the sound of metal clashing could be heard. Swish! At the same time, a snake's tail swept across the void, causing the space to emit a dull sound of air exploding. It whipped towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming took a step and his figure soared into the sky, dodging the attack of the snake's tail. However, the snake's tail was like an awl attached to a bone. After missing its attack, it continued to whip upwards towards Lu Ming. 9 dragons trampling the sky. A dragon roar sounded, and a terrifying power erupted. Each wave was stronger than the previous one, bombarding the snake's tail. Boom! The snake's tail trembled as if it was enduring an unimaginable power. It kept shaking, and finally, a part of it exploded with a bang. Blood splattered everywhere. The Sea of Soul Realm giant snake is injured. Nearby, other human martial artists saw this and were immediately excited. As if they had seen hope, they roared and charged towards the sea beast. Ant, how dare you injure me? Die, die. The deep-sea giant snake's body curled, and endless seawater turned into sea snakes, pouncing towards Lu Ming. Exploding Star Fist. The infinite dragon spear disappeared, and Lu Ming executed the exploding star fist. Streams of fist light pierced through the void, blasting downwards. This time, Lu Ming merged 3 states into the exploding star fist. Its speed was faster, and its explosive power was stronger. Boom, boom. It was like endless meteors were falling, clashing with the sea snakes formed by seawater. Amid the rumbling, boundless energy overflowed. Once the martial artists and sea beasts nearby were hit, they died miserably on the spot. Leave. Stay away. At the place where Lu Ming and the giant snake were fighting, the other martial artists and sea beasts had already distanced themselves. On the other side, the battle between Hades and the deep-sea giant snake was about the same. Sword chi was everywhere, and the other martial artists and sea beasts had also distanced themselves. Kill! Lu Ming shouted. His fist energy was getting crazier and more intense. In the end, it was almost impossible to see Lu Ming's fist. Only streams of fist light could be seen pouring down. Awesome! Too awesome! Lu Ming's quintessence was boiling, and his battle intent seemed to be burning. This was his true all-out battle. He did not have any misgivings, and he did not need to suppress his quintessence. He felt that his exploding star fist was getting smoother and smoother. Suddenly, the fist light trembled, and its might seemed to have increased by another level. Chapter 667. The exploding star fist was different from the Dragon God's 3 ultimate techniques. The Dragon God's 3 ultimate techniques was divided into 3 moves. The third move was the Extreme Strike, which had strong penetrating power and impeccable attack power. However, the True Dragon Strike and the 10,000 Dragons Kill were much weaker. On the other hand, the Exploding Star Fist was a pure killing move. Every punch was like a meteor exploding. In terms of explosive power, it was even stronger than the True Dragon Strike. The destructive power of the 5th level of the Exploding Star Fist was not weaker than the True Dragon Strike. Streaks of fist radiance were like true dragon strikes. How terrifying was its power! Bam! Bam! Finally, Lu Ming gained the upper hand and defeated the sea snake formed by the seawater. The powerful fist force landed on the body of the deep-sea snake. The fist force landed on the body of the deep-sea snake, causing it to roar continuously. However, the body of the deep-sea snake was covered with scales and had a terrifying defense. The fist force of the exploding star fist was offset by the sea snake formed by the seawater. It could only hurt the deep-sea snake, but not hurt it. However, this had already infuriated the deep-sea snake. It roared furiously and soared into the sky, pouncing towards Lu Ming. It opened its mouth and billowing black gas spread towards Lu Ming. Poison gas! Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat, and he quickly retreated. However, when he came into contact with a trace of the poison gas, he immediately felt a burning pain on his skin. The poison gas was rapidly corroding his skin. Devour! Lu Ming controlled the devouring power of the 9 Dragons' bloodline. Immediately, the poison gas was devoured by the 9 Dragons' bloodline. Second bloodline. Explode! After the second bloodline was activated, Lu Ming's strength increased by another level. He threw out hundreds of punches and dispersed the poison gas in front of him. The deep-sea snake's tongue was like a sword. It was wrapped in a layer of black liquid, which greatly increased its power. Whoosh! Whoosh! The snake's tongue danced and dispersed Lu Ming's fist force. After Lu Ming threw out hundreds of punches, the infinite dragon spear appeared in his hand. He looked down and pulled out the spear. The long spear became 1,000 meters long and ruthlessly whipped the body of the deep-sea snake. The deep-sea snake hissed and its body was blasted down. 9 dragons stomping the sky. Lu Ming stepped into the void and took 4 consecutive steps. The violent power continued to bombard the giant snake. Its target was the spot 7 inches below the giant snake's head. Bang! At the spot 7 inches below the giant snake, it suddenly exploded. Scales flew everywhere, and blood splattered everywhere. However, the giant snake's defense was too strong. Most of the power was blocked by its scales. Although a large piece of flesh was blown off, it was only a superficial wound for the giant snake's huge body. However, This superficial wound was enough for Lu Ming. After Lu Ming used the 9 dragons' heaven-stomping steps, his body fell rapidly. When he was about to reach the giant snake, he launched his strongest attack, Extreme Dao Strike. The spear merged with the body and turned into a resplendent spear light, stabbing towards the wound of the giant snake. That wound from before was all for this attack. It was a fatal blow. The giant snake seemed to have sensed a fatal threat and spat out a black poisonous mist at Lu Ming with all its might. This poisonous mist had almost turned into liquid. It was extremely terrifying. Even an ordinary level 5 spiritual weapon would be corroded and melted. Unfortunately, it met Lu Ming. With the protection of the 9 dragons' bloodline, Lu Ming was not afraid of the poisonous gas attack at all. The devouring power enveloped his body. Lu Ming's body rushed past. The resplendent spear light pierced through the giant snake's 7-inch wound and came out from the other side. The 7-inch wound was the snake's vital point. Lu Ming's move directly pierced a big hole in the giant snake's vital point. Hiss, hiss, hiss. The giant snake's eyes widened. It let out an unwilling roar and fell into the sea. It rolled violently in the sea for a few times before stopping and becoming motionless. A deep-sea giant snake of the spirit sea realm was killed by Lu Ming. At this time, Lu Ming's gaze looked to the other side, the side of King Yama. A dazzling sword light, incomparably sharp, seemed to be able to cut through everything. Poochie. The giant snake's head was almost severed. More than half of its body had been severed, leaving only a small part of its head hanging. The other giant snake was also killed. King Yama's figure appeared. However, some parts of his black robe were torn, revealing the golden robe underneath. He looked a little battered. The speed at which he killed the giant snake was only a few breaths slower than Lu Ming's. At this time, he also looked at Lu Ming. His eyes flickered as he said, "This time, you win. But next time, I won't lose." "Actually, you didn't lose," Lu Ming said. King Yama's strength had also shocked him. Level 2 Metal Mentality. King Yama's mentality had already reached level 2. As long as he opened his spiritual sea, he would immediately become a Sea of Soul Realm expert. Moreover, King Yama's bloodline martial skill was also extremely powerful. It was even stronger than Shuegang's bloodline martial skill. King Yama's true battle strength was definitely not weaker than Lu Ming's. Lu Ming was able to kill the giant snake first because he was not afraid of the giant snake's poisonous gas attack. "A loss is a loss, regardless of the reason," King Yama said calmly. At this moment, the nearby human clan cultivators were first extremely shocked, then extremely excited. 2 Sea of Soul Realm deep-sea giant snakes had been killed by King Yama and Shura. A martial king had actually killed a Sea of Soul Realm expert. This was simply unbelievable. In the past, this had only been heard of in legends. However, the warriors who had been to the life battle platform had different thoughts. King Yama and Shura have finally decided a winner. Shura is stronger. This thought flashed through many people's minds. There are still some left. Why don't we continue? Lu Ming looked at the battle in the sky. It was a battle between Sea of Soul Realm experts. Just what I want. King Yama's body emitted a strong battle intent. Shwa, shwa. A ray of sword light and a ray of spear light shot towards the sky at the same time. Lu Ming and King Yama were going to participate in the battle between Sea of Soul Realm experts. As long as they killed 1 or 2 Sea of Soul Realm great beasts, the scales of victory would tilt towards the human side. Lu Ming did not devour the blood essence of the deep-sea giant snake. He had already devoured enough blood essence. At this time, the 9 dragons' bloodline was still slowly being refined. The blood essence of the spiritual sea was too powerful. If he devoured it, Lu Ming would probably not be able to control it and would have to find a place to refine it. He would not be able to continue the battle. In the sky, the Great Formation was extremely intense. The human warriors and the Sea of Soul Realm great beasts both had advantages. The battle was extremely fierce, and the victor could not be decided for the time being. A blue-robed man was fighting a tiger shark. This tiger shark was at the late stage of the first layer of the spiritual sea realm. It was even stronger than the deep-sea giant snake from before. However, the The blue-robed man's cultivation was also not weak. His cultivation was also at the late stage of the first layer of the spiritual sea realm. The blue-robed man and the tiger shark both had injuries on their bodies. Lu Ming's figure flashed and rushed towards the battle between the two. Haha, little friend, you came at the right time. Help me kill this beast. The blue-robed man saw Lu Ming and immediately laughed excitedly. Just now, he also saw Lu Ming kill the deep-sea giant snake. Chapter 668. Damn it! Seeing Lu Ming charging over, the tiger shark let out a roar and started to panic. Senior, let's kill this tiger shark together. Lu Ming waved his long spear, and a huge spear light that was 1,000 meters long blasted towards the tiger shark. Haha, let's kill this beast. The blue-robed man's eyes flashed fiercely. The battle sword in his hand was wider than his palm, and it slashed towards the tiger shark. With Lu Ming and the blue-robed man working together, the tiger shark was immediately at a disadvantage and was completely suppressed. 9 dragons stomping the sky. Lu Ming took 4 steps, and a violent force smashed onto the tiger shark like an immemorial mountain. The tiger shark's body trembled, and below, the blue-robed man's sword light rushed upwards, leaving a 10-meter-long wound on the tiger shark's body. One of its fins was cut off, and it flew far away. The tiger shark roared. In fear, it did not dare to fight anymore, and wanted to escape. You can't escape. Lu Ming executed the 9 dragons' heaven ascending steps, and his figure flashed continuously, blocking the tiger shark's path of retreat. Both of his fists struck out more than 100 punches consecutively. More than 100 bursting fist gleams blocked the tiger shark's figure and tore open wounds on its body. Although the wounds were not big, the tiger shark was bleeding profusely. Some of the fistlights were even aimed at the tiger shark's wounds, which made the tiger shark's injuries worse. Sky-splitting sword, kill. The blue-robed man arrived, and the terrifying sword light that could tear everything apart cut the tiger shark's body in half. The spiritual sea tiger shark was dead. Haha, little brother, thank you. The blue-robed man grinned, but his eyes were still flashing fiercely. He was a fierce man. If it was not for Lu Ming's strength that had already gained his recognition, he would not even care about Lu Ming. He would even kill him if he did not like him. But Lu Ming's strength was already on the same level as him, so he naturally restrained his fierceness. Let's go kill the other spiritual sea beasts. Lu Ming said. Haha, these beasts don't even think about leaving today. The blue-robed man's face was ferocious. Whoosh, whoosh. On the other side, Helking and another Sea of Soul Realm warrior had also killed a Sea of Soul Realm beast. In this way, apart from the Flood Dragon, there were only 7 Sea of Soul Realm beasts left. On the human side, other than the Frostblade Spirit Warrior, there were 9 Spiritual Sea Realm warriors. Including Lu Ming and Yama, they were also at the Spiritual Sea Realm. Of course, there was also Xian Yanqing. The human side had the upper hand in terms of high-end warriors. However, at this moment, a dragon's roar resounded through the heavens and the earth. A figure descended at an extremely fast speed. It was the Frostblade Spirit. The Frostblade Spirit Master spat out a mouthful of blood as his body fell rapidly. Above him, the Flood Dragon roared as its huge body slithered down, chasing after the Frostblade Spirit Master. Whoosh! A ray of blue light shot towards Frostblade Spirit Master. Frostblade Spirit Master slashed out a ray of saber light, barely managing to block the attack. However, the remaining light still landed on his body, causing him to cough up large mouthfuls of blood. Bang! The Frostblade Spirit Master fell into the sea. In the next moment, he rushed out from the other side of the sea. Old bastard, die! The Flood Dragon pounced towards the Frostblade Spirit Master. Everyone's heart sank. The Frostblade Spirit Master was no match for the Flood Dragon. He was completely suppressed. The Frostblade Spirit Master was at the peak of the 3rd level of the Spiritual Sea Realm, but he was still no match for the Flood Dragon. This Flood Dragon should be at the early stage of the 2nd level of the Spiritual Sea Realm. However, the Flood Dragon's battle power couldn't be calculated according to normal levels. The Flood Dragon contained the bloodline of a true dragon. No matter if it was its physical body or beast power, It was extremely powerful. It also had some powerful battle skills. Although this flood dragon was only at the early stage of the second level of the spiritual sea realm, the Frostblade Spirit Master was no match for it. The flood dragon pounced towards the Frostblade Spirit Master. He didn't dare to take it head-on, so he turned around and fled crazily. You can't escape. The flood dragon twisted its body, and its huge body passed through layers of the void, chasing after the Frostblade Spirit Master at an extremely fast speed. A beam of blue divine light pierced toward Frostblade Spirit Master like a divine sword. The Frostblade Spirit Master was shocked. His body quickly moved, dodging the blue light. At this moment, he was moving in the direction of Lu Ming and the burly man in the blue robe. The Frostblade Spirit Master rushed towards Lu Ming and the blue-robed man. You guys, help me block this flood dragon. Quick! The Frostblade Spirit Master shouted at Lu Ming and the blue-robed man in a commanding tone. Lu Ming frowned. His and the blue-robed man's battle power was only at the first level of the spiritual sea realm. They were too far away from the flood dragon. They would be courting death if they did that. The Frostblade Spirit Master's purpose was simple. He wanted them to die so that he could have time to escape. How could Lu Ming be so stupid? He would try his best to participate in this battle, but the premise was that he wouldn't be in danger. If there was a fatal danger, he and Xian Yinqing would turn around and leave. To put it bluntly, the people of Golden Sand Island had nothing to do with him. Whether they lived or died, what did it have to do with Lu Ming? He believed that a lot of people at the scene were thinking the same. Now, the Frostblade Spirit Master wanted him to die. How could that be? Lu Ming turned around and flew far away, avoiding the Frostblade Spirit Master and the Flood Dragon. The blue-robed man did the same, flying far away. You two dare to run away and disregard the safety of the human race. You deserve to die. The Frostblade Spirit Master roared, looking at Lu Ming and the blue-robed man with murderous intent in his eyes. Lu Ming sneered, not bothering to pay attention to the Frostblade Spirit Master. Then, the Frostblade Spirit Master rushed towards Hell King. Without a doubt, Hell King and the other expert also turned around and left. The Frostblade Spirit Master roared again and again, almost getting hit by the Flood Dragon's divine light. His eyes turned cold, and he suddenly rushed towards another battlefield. That battlefield was the one between a Sea of Soul Realm expert and a great beast. Old monster Frostblade, what are you doing? That human Sea of Soul Realm expert roared in fright. The Frostblade Spirit Master rushed over like this, clearly wanting to use him as a shield. The Frostblade Spirit Master's face was cold, and he didn't say a word, rushing forward with all his might. Retreat! Retreat! The Sea of Soul Realm expert wanted to leave. Stay here. How could the Sea of Soul Realm great beast let him escape so easily? He launched a frenzied attack, stubbornly holding the opponent back. The Frost Saber Spirit Cultivator charged past the human expert, and behind him was the Flood Dragon. Human ants, go to hell. The Flood Dragon's huge claws grabbed at the Sea of Soul Realm expert. Damn it! Damn it! Old monster Frostblade, you're despicable. The Sea of Soul Realm expert roared, crazily erupting with power. He used all his strength, hoping to block the Flood Dragon's attack and escape. But the difference between him and the Flood Dragon was too great. Under the Flood Dragon's claw, his attacks collapsed, and all his defenses were in vain. Pong! He was grabbed by the Flood Dragon's claw, and his bones cracked. Old monster Frostblade, I curse you to die without a burial place. The man roared, and his aura rapidly declined. Chapter 669. After this, the Iceblade Spirit Warrior managed to escape even further and rushed towards another battlefield. Not good, damn it. The other Sea of Soul Realm experts saw this scene and had no desire to continue fighting. They madly charged and then turned to run. However, there were also one or two people who were firmly held back by the great beasts and couldn't escape. They could only roar in anger. Iceblade, don't come over. Someone roared, but the Iceblade Spirit Warrior's face darkened as he continued to fly towards that person. Although these Sea of Soul Realm experts couldn't completely block the Flood Dragon, as long as they could block it for a short while, he would be able to escape. Ah, Ice Blade, you're despicable. That person cursed. However, the result was the same. When the Ice Blade spirit warrior rushed over, the Flood Dragon followed closely. That human expert was simply not the Flood Dragon's opponent and was killed in a few moves. Even his corpse was swallowed by the Flood Dragon. Go. The other Sea of Soul Realm warriors who had escaped didn't dare to stay in the air and directly flew down to join the battle below. Ha ha ha. Kill all these humans. Those Sea of Soul Realm great beasts also laughed wildly and rushed down to the battlefield below. The battlefield below was in chaos. The addition of Sea of Soul Realm experts turned the battlefield into a chaotic battle. Miserable screams rang out continuously as large numbers of martial artists were killed by Sea of Soul Realm great beasts. There were also large numbers of sea beasts killed by Sea of Soul Realm martial artists. Lu Ming also rushed down to the battlefield below. Run, run. This area was being ravaged by a huge octopus. This octopus was a Sea of Soul Realm great beast. The octopus body was like a small mountain. 8 tentacles fluttered in the air. On each tentacle, there were suction cups that had a powerful suction force. With a wave of its 8 tentacles, a large number of human martial artists were sucked in by the suction cups. Then, the suction cups opened like mouths, revealing fangs as they swallowed the human martial artists, chewing them up. Miserable screams rose and fell. Luo Xian. Lu Ming saw Luo Xian in the crowd. At this moment, she was crazily fleeing with a group of people. Behind them, a huge tentacle swept towards them. Help. The few people who ran to the back were directly sucked in by the suction cups of the tentacles, letting out shrill screams. What should we do? What to do? Am I going to die here? Luo Xian's face was pale, without a trace of blood. She knew that she was in danger today and might very well die here. Unfortunately, before her dream of making the Flame Trade Union grow stronger could be realized, she was going to die here. She was unwilling. But in the face of such a huge gap in strength, what was the use of being unwilling? A huge tentacle waved towards her. Unable to escape, she closed her eyes in despair. But in the next moment, she heard a loud boom. Then, she felt her waist tighten. She was hugged by a strong arm, and a blazing aura kept surging towards her. She opened her eyes in a panic and saw a mask. It was the Azura mask. It's him. Luo Xian's eyes lit up. She realized that she was being hugged by Lu Ming at the waist, and her body was tightly pressed against Lu Ming's strong body. Her heartbeat accelerated and her face heated up. Lu Ming did not care about this. His eyes were all on the huge octopus in front of him. So strong. This octopus beast should be at the second layer of the spiritual ocean tier. Lu Ming thought in his heart and retreated rapidly. Just now, he exchanged a blow with one of the octopus tentacles and was no match for it. The other party's strength was too strong. Help! Help! Lu Ming, save me! A loud cry was heard. Lu Ming looked over, and a faint smile appeared on his lips. The one who cried for help was Chen Zhao. He fled frantically, and behind him, a huge octopus tentacle waved towards him. Lu Ming could not be bothered with it and retreated rapidly. Lu Ming, you watched me die without saving me. I curse you. I curse you to die without a complete corpse. Seeing that Lu Ming had no intention of saving him, Chen Zhao cursed loudly. Luo Xian's gaze was also very calm. Chen Zhao asked for all this. He offended Lu Ming like that earlier, so why would Lu Ming save him? The tentacle sucked and sucked Chen Zhao in. Chen Zhao screamed in horror and struggled desperately, but it was no use. The sucker opened and swallowed Chen Zhao. Shua. Lu Ming retreated dozens of miles in an instant before letting go of Luo Xian. Miss Luo Xian, your cultivation is not high. Just stay behind. As soon as Lu Ming finished his words, his figure moved and he dashed in another direction. There, Xian Yanqing was fighting a huge eel. This eel was also one of the spirit sea great beasts. Its whole body was covered in lightning, and it was extremely powerful. Its cultivation should be at the middle first layer of the spirit sea realm. However, Xian Yanqing's battle strength was also extremely powerful, and he actually had a slight advantage. Lu Ming stepped on the air and arrived at this area in a short while. A bright spear light shot towards the eel. "It's you." The eel saw Lu Ming and was shocked, and it hurriedly retreated. It had seen Lu Ming kill a deep-sea giant snake just now. It already felt that it was no match for Xian Yanqing. If Lu Ming joined the fray, it would be doomed. It would be strange if it did not run away. Roar. In the sky, dragon roars sounded out. After killing 2 Spirit Sea Realm experts, the Flood Dragon continued to chase after Frostblade Spirit Warrior. "Old man, I'll kill you today. You can't escape." The Flood Dragon roared, and its voice shook heaven and earth. Frostblade Spirit Warrior ran for his life, and he actually flew towards the battlefield below. Run! The martial artists below were scared out of their wits, and they all scattered to escape. This old man is too despicable. Lu Ming's eyes flashed with a cold light. He and Xian Yanqing flew back together. Xiao. Right at this moment, in the distant sky, a scarlet sword light pierced through the void and shot towards the Flood Dragon. The Flood Dragon caught it with its claw, and it clashed with the sword light. With a loud sound, the sword light disappeared, but the Flood Dragon's body was also blocked. Seeing this sword light, Frostblade Spirit Warrior was overjoyed, and he laughed loudly. Red old man, you're finally here." Too slow. Xiao. Another scarlet sword light slashed towards the Flood Dragon. Along with the appearance of the sword light, 6 or 7 figures appeared in the distance. The one in the lead was an old man in a red robe, and his aura was extremely powerful. Pong. A divine light shot out from one of the Flood Dragon's horns, blocking the sword light. Shwa. Shwa. With a series of sonic booms, 7 figures appeared in the sky above the battlefield. 7 silhouettes, each of them emitting a powerful aura. They were all powerful Sea of Souls Realm warriors. Cold Blade Old Monster, I went to ask Green Xian for help. That's why I'm a bit late. The old man in red robe grinned. Green Xian is also here? Chapter 670. Of course. Let's go. Old Monster Hong Chi yelled. Beside him, 5 of the Sea of Souls Realm warriors flew down to the battlefield, while he and Old Monster Lu Xian flew toward the Flood Dragon. Together with the Ice Blade Spirit Warrior, they surrounded the Flood Dragon. Old Monster Hong Chi and Old Monster Lu Xian's cultivation were the same as the Ice Blade Spirit Warriors, peak 3rd level Sea of Souls Realm. A Flood Dragon. Its entire body is full of treasures. Let's kill it and divide it among the 3 of us. Greed flashed through Old Monster Hong Chi's eyes. All right, let's go. The Ice Blade Spirit Warrior yelled. Boom, boom, boom. 3 horrifying auras shot up into the sky. At the same time, 2 sword lights and a green bead attacked the Flood Dragon. The Flood Dragon roared and charged forward. Haha, our reinforcements have arrived. Kill. Kill these bastards. A lot of human warriors yelled. This time, 7 Sea of Souls Realm warriors had arrived. 2 of them were dealing with the Flood Dragon, while the other 5 joined the battlefield, turning the situation around instantly. In terms of high-end battle power, the human race had completely taken the upper hand. Not only were all the Sea of Souls Realm beasts blocked, but the human side also had extra Sea of Souls Realm warriors who were constantly killing the sea beasts. On the ocean, countless corpses floated. There were both human and beast corpses. So much essence blood. During this time, Lu Ming had devoured a lot of essence blood. Most of it was from Peak King warriors. After the battle started, Lu Ming had already devoured more than 50 of them. He could feel that his 9-dragon bloodline was almost full, and he really wanted to find a place to refine it. But right now, he could only slowly refine it while fighting. Up until now, the human race had suffered countless casualties, but they still had the upper hand. With the addition of Sea of Souls Realm warriors, they were able to kill a lot of sea beasts. Retreat. Retreat. Finally, the sea beasts were scared. A Sea of Souls Realm beast yelled and gathered all the sea beasts to retreat into the ocean. In terms of high-end battle power, the human race had already taken the upper hand. If they continued to fight, the sea beasts would be wiped out sooner or later. Lord Flood Dragon, this is all we can help you with. A huge octopus opened its mouth and gathered all the sea beasts to retreat into the ocean. Clank! Waves swept out, and the seawater became 1,000-meter-tall waves. Countless aquatic beasts hid within the waves and disappeared without a trace. Once a sea beast entered the sea and focused on escaping, it would be very difficult for martial artists to chase after it. Roar! In the sky, the flood dragon roared continuously. It was besieged by 3 experts at the peak of the 3rd layer of the spiritual ocean realm and was completely at a disadvantage. In just a short while, a few wounds appeared on the flood dragon's body. Its scales were torn and blood flowed out. Kill this flood dragon! Some martial artists roared. However, even though the flood dragon was clearly no match for him, he still refused to retreat. Blue divine light burst out of the flood dragon's body, attacking Frostblade and the other 2. At the same time, the flood dragon's body kept shrinking. After a few breaths, a middle-aged man wearing blue armor appeared in the sky. He held a halberd in his hand. With a wave of his halberd, he forced the Ice Blade Spirit Cultivator back. The armored man was none other than the flood dragon. Whoosh! The flood dragon forced Frost Saber's Spirit Master to retreat, then turned into a beam of light and shot toward the depths of Jinsha Island. Chase! The Ice Blade Spirit Cultivator, Old Monster Hong Chi, and Old Monster Lu Xian all chased after the flood dragon and disappeared into the sky. At this time, countless sea beasts had already retreated into the sea and escaped. Countless corpses were left on the surface of the sea. Ah, that tiger shark is mine. That's mine. Countless martial artists flew on the surface of the sea, putting the sea beast corpses into their storage rings. Many parts of these sea beasts were precious materials that could be used to refine weapons, pills, and so on. They were very valuable. Of course, these martial artists were tempted. Go away. That's mine. Some people roared, and a great battle even broke out. Lu Ming's figure flashed, and he appeared in front of a giant deep-sea snake. Go away. A Peking didn't even look and directly slashed at Lu Ming. However, when he saw Lu Ming's appearance, he almost peed himself and hurriedly withdrew his blade. Shura! He screamed. Do you want to die? Lu Ming said coldly. No, it's a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding? This giant deep-sea snake is yours. That Peking laughed shakily and hurriedly turned to leave. Kid, go away. You can take the corpse of a Sea of Soul Realm beast even if you don't die. A man in his 30s with a tall nose flew over. This was a Spirit Sea Realm expert. He was part of the group of experts who had rushed over to help. He did not see Lu Ming killing the Spirit Sea Realm big demon and merely thought that Lu Ming was an ordinary Peking. Before he arrived, a powerful aura pressed down on Lu Ming. Lu Ming frowned and appeared on top of the giant deep-sea snake. He placed his hand on the snake's wound and sucked, devouring the 9 drops of essence blood. Then, his figure flashed and he left this place. His goal was the essence blood of the giant deep-sea snake. As for the corpse, although it was precious, he didn't care much for it. Moreover, he needed to refine the essence blood and didn't want to have a conflict with others. Seeing that Lu Ming did not touch the deep-sea giant snake, the burly man with a high nose swept a cold glance at Lu Ming. He then waved his hand and put the deep-sea giant snake's huge body into his storage ring. Boom, boom. The essence blood of a Sea of Soul Realm beast was too terrifying. Once it entered the 9 dragons' bloodline, it was like a volcano erupting, constantly attacking the 9 dragons' bloodline and making rumbling sounds. He had wanted to devour more essence blood, but it seemed impossible now. Little Qing, let's go. I need you to guard me. Lu Ming called out. He needed to find a place to refine the essence blood. Xian Yinqing nodded and flew toward the city with Lu Ming. Boom. But at this moment, an earth-shattering sound came from the depths of Jinsha Island. Then, everyone saw a beam of 7-colored divine light shoot up into the sky. Although they were far away, they could still feel the extraordinary majesty of the divine light. Rumble. The entire Jinsha Island began to tremble slightly. Boom. The rainbow-colored divine light became even more resplendent. It dispersed the clouds and soared to an unknown height in the sky. What's going on? What's that 7-colored light beam? Is it related to that flood dragon? Is it possible? This beast tide is very abnormal. I suspect that it was organized by that flood dragon. It must have a purpose. The warriors present looked at the seven-colored divine light in a daze. Some people whispered. Lu Ming and Xian Yinqing were also shocked. They stood in the void and watched. The seven-colored divine light became more and more dazzling. The light completely outshone the sun in the sky. Suddenly, after a violent rumble, the seven-colored divine light disappeared. However, an island appeared where the seven-colored divine light was. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.